Hey guys, welcome back and thank you for tuning in to Investor Intelligence. It's your weekly podcast for all things investment, brought to you by the team here at the Property Mentors. My name is Phoebe Sikowski-Wallace, and on behalf of myself and the team, we hope you had a lovely Christmas and a very enjoyable New Year's. Coming up on today's episode, we'll be doing something a little bit different. You won't be hearing Luke's beautiful voice this time, as I've brought in another expert from our team. This is one of the many voices you would hear being a member with us, so I thought, why not introduce them here first? So earlier in the week, I sat down with Malika Kingwell, who is not only one of our amazing senior property mentors, but she's also the assistant mentor team director. Now, I wanted to talk to Malika about this certain topic because it's very fitting for this time of year, as it's a time where a lot of people are thinking about a fresh start. They're either setting or resetting or even reassessing their goals. So what better time to talk about the 3 key ingredients to successfully identify those goals and help understand what you are actually targeting. And the best part is these steps can be applied to any goals you have, regardless if they're to do with investing or not. So I hope you enjoy. Here's Malika. Malika, welcome to the podcast. Thank you so much for talking to me today.
Thank you so much for having me.
So you are one of our highly sought after, amazing property mentors here. But just before we get into today's topic, tell our listeners just a bit about yourself and perhaps in your own words what a property mentor does and why someone might need one.
Yeah, sure. So a little bit about myself. I moved to Australia for nearly 5 years ago. I used to be a real estate agent back in the UK, or as we call it, an estate agent, selling houses, doing inspections, valuations, things like that, which I loved. I then went on to do property management, so looked after investors' portfolios, leased them out for them, looked after any maintenance work that may need to be done and things like that. Then I flipped it a bit and decided to go into marketing and advertising, but still for real estate agents, just to make sure I had a broader knowledge of the industry itself. I then, from there, actually decided to have a bit of a break. I'd been working full-time for about 5 years, which I know is not very long, but it was enough at the time, and decided to go travelling by myself around Europe and Asia, and then moved to Melbourne, and I'm here now. So what I now do here in Australia at the Property Mentors is I help guide my members and investors to build wealth through Australian property to help them achieve their dreams, dates and dollars. So the reason why I decided to become a mentor was because, property is my passion. It's the career path I've been in for the last nearly 10 years now. I tried all the other sides of things, the real estate, the property management, and all of that. But then I decided I wanted to become a mentor so I could help people, and I could help educate them, help teach them and learn what I've learnt and help them build successful portfolios. The reason why you'd want to have a mentor is if you're looking to build and grow wealth through property, but you're not exactly sure how to do it, what to do, and there's a lot you need to know to be able to do this. It's your hard-earned money that you've worked for every day that you're going to be investing in, and it's your future that you're thinking about. So it's very important to make sure that what you're doing is well thought out and a well-figured plan. So being a mentor, my job isn't necessarily to tell people what to do. It's to guide them, to guide you in the right direction, and help you get to where you want to get to.
Yeah, fantastic. I think that's a really important note to make, is that a mentor is here not necessarily to tell you what to do and not only to help our members find great property opportunities, but it is to keep people accountable for their goals. It's to keep them on track and to be with them every step of the way. Is that right?
Yes, absolutely. To hold their hand throughout the journey, essentially.
That's right. So in previous episodes, Luke and I have touched on the idea of goals and dreams and how everyone's goals and dreams will be very different to the next person's and therefore will need different strategies. But what is becoming more and more clear to me is that through those discussions is the difference between the people who achieve their goals and those who don't, is that the people who do, they put a plan in place. Now, this is something that we're constantly repeating because if there's one thing that creates a lot of unease when it comes to goals, it's when you sort of roughly know the direction you're going in, but you don't have that solid plan in place. So something I want to talk about with you is when someone comes to you who is perhaps starting out in their investment journey, or even someone who has experience behind them but is searching for that next investing project, where do you start with them?
Yeah, so what we do is we start with finding out to make sure that every member or investor recognises their point A. So what that means is asking yourself as an investor, as a member, to question certain things about your goals and what you're wanting to achieve. So getting real with yourself, essentially, establishing where you are now, i.e. your finances, your income, assets, location. Did you achieve the goals this year that you wanted to achieve? Do you still have time to achieve those if you haven't yet achieved those? I often like to ask on the scale of 1 to 10 for myself. I do this for myself. How happy am I with what I have achieved this last year with my goals? So those are the kind of questions. And it's really about owning all the decisions and processes you've been through to get you to this point.
Fantastic. So what are some of the questions that people can ask themselves in order to assess where they are right now?
Yeah, so look, I would start asking questions to myself, such like, how much money do I have in my bank account right now? How much longer do I need to save for? How many hours a week am I working? Do I have much free time on my hands? Am I feeling emotionally rewarded with what I'm doing right now? Am I fulfilled in what I'm doing? You know, I'd also look at things like, what is the total of my current assets, if I have any? Things like that's including your superannuation, any properties I've got, shares, any investments that I currently have. What is all the total of your liabilities? So things like my credit cards, mortgages, card loans. What is my current income combined if I've got a partner? So those are the kind of questions I'd look to ask myself.
Yeah, great. So these are all questions that will help you give that almost reality check in order to move to that next step, which is defining your point B. What does point B mean?
So point B are your goals. It's where you want to be. It's everything that you want to achieve. So one of the great ways that we help people figure out their goals, and I'll ask every single investor to do this before we even start through the journey that we're going to go on to together, is the 3 Ds. Dreams, dates, and dollars. In order to achieve your goals, you need to work backwards. So this process, dreams, dates, and dollars, is essentially working backwards so you can achieve those future long-term goals for yourself.
So these are all terms we're familiar with, dreams, dates, and dollars. But describe that to me. What does that look like?
Yeah, sure. So the way I look at dreams, dates, and dollars is dreams, whether they're big, medium, or small. So it can be anything from a new hobby you want to take up to a couple of international trips a year to going, visiting family all over the world, wherever that might be or whatever that might look like. Sit back and think about those dreams you want to achieve. Then the date. So when do you want to achieve those? So if it's a new hobby, when do you want to achieve this new hobby? Do you want to start that this year? Do you want to start it next year? Do you want to start that in retirement? When do you want to start taking these 2 international trips a year? And then the dollars. So how much is it going to cost to start this new hobby? How much is it going to cost you to take these international trips every year? That's when I think of dreams, dates, and dollars, that's the kind of thing I would be looking at.
Wonderful. So let's say that I have a dream of owning a house by the beach. Let's break that down through the 3 Ds, dreams, dates, and dollars. So my dream is to have the house on the beach.
Yeah.
But what else does the dream entail?
So I'd kind of look a little bit more into that dream. So you're wanting to own a house by the beach. Why do you want to own this house by the beach? What's that going to bring you? What fulfillment is that going to give you? Maybe your family, maybe your friends, your loved ones. Where do you want this house to be? How big do you want this house to be? Do you want this to have 8 bedrooms and 5 en suites? Or do you want it to be, a nice, one of those tiny houses, a personal project you do yourself? I think about it like that.
Okay, so dreams is really about asking your why and really looking at the details of what you want. where does dates come into this?
Sure. So back to when I was saying a moment ago, with the whether it's short term, medium term, or long term for dates. So this house for you, for example, Phoebe, do you want to have that now? Do you want it in 2 years' time? Or is it a 10-year time goal? So that's what I would think in terms of dates, and then dollars. So you need to have, first of all, you need to know how much this house is going to cost, what kind of savings you've got at the moment, how long it's going to take you to get that money for this particular house that you really want, like that kind of.
So it's not just about how much you're willing to spend. It can also be about how long is it going to take me to save up X amount for a house like this.
Yeah, absolutely. So you've got to be realistic. You know, we've all got the dreams and the time frames, the dates that we want to achieve them. But, you know, dollars is the kind of the realistic side of it, to be able to make sure we can achieve the dreams that we have, no matter how big nor small. So you'd want to start thinking to yourself, this house that you want by the beach, Phoebe, realistically, what is that going to cost you? How much do you need to save to achieve this dream, this house by the beach? Where are you at now with your current savings deposit? Will you maybe have to work more? Can you work less? Do you want to keep working? So, yeah, the dollars a huge play in that. But I think working backwards from it is the best way to be able to achieve your goals.
Yeah, so you can see how they all go hand in hand together.
Yeah.
Malika, thank you so much for talking to me today.
Oh, well, thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Guys, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you would like to know any more about us here at The Property Mentors, please check out our website, thepropertymentors.com.au, especially if you would like to book a discovery call and talk about your dreams, dates and dollars with any of our mentors, including the wonderful Malika. For those who have already or are starting to put together a must-read list for 2022, make sure to add Property Fit to that list if you want to kickstart or even further refine your investing knowledge. You can get yourself a copy at propertyfitbook.com.au. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll be in your ears again next week.